This is James' dinner. He's having a salmon sandwich with some homemade bread, and I put loads and loads of seeds in that. So it held together really great. You'll see when he eats it. And I brought him some ajwain sprouts, aren't they cute? And homemade dill pickles, greens, powder in some dandelion juice. And I'll be talking about this book, which I recommend completely. It is the most awesome orchids book, and I will. Yep.
Wow,
I would pay full price for that one.
That's a big recommend coming from us.
Yeah.
Because we're very economical. You even more than I am.
Yeah. Like this one, when I was studying horticulture years ago, the school, I went on I guess it was a field trip, but it was a pretty big field trip. We went all the way to Vancouver area.
And that's coming from Olds. It's not like coming from Abbotsford.
No. And went on tours of all sorts of greenhouses and such things. And there was one greenhouse where the people, they were very friendly, and they were showing us how they were doing everything. And they were growing orchids. They were growing Phalaenopsis. And anyway, they did it a lot like how it's explained in this book. So, if you look on page 115 of this, you have harvesting orchid seed. You have loads and loads of little seeds, and then you flip the page and you're like sowing the orchid seeds. So they show you how. So you have your agar, and you make sure you sterilize the seed, and then you put it in the agar, and it goes through the whole process here. So if you go all the way through, see, then all of a sudden you have plants. Isn't that wonderful? And
good pictures in there.
Wonderful pictures, wonderful explanations for how to do everything. If you are serious about growing orchids, this is the book you need. You need this book before you get your orchids. You know, they're pretty, but my favorite orchids are cymbidiums, but most people like the Phalaenopsis or slipper orchids. But anyway, there's an orchid for everybody. Orchids are wonderful plants.
You've even seen them out in the wild, right?
Yeah.
You went on, I think, more than one
you've
tour.
Seen them out on the wild too.
Sure, but not like you did. You were like with a club or something.
Yes, I would highly recommend that if you happen to be in the Winnipeg area for the summer, join the Orchid Society there. It's excellent. They are nice excellent people, and it doesn't cost, I think it was something like $15 for the year, and you go on a whole bunch of tours. They know where all the orchids are, and they take you for like $15. It's cheaper than going to a movie.
And it was different kind of landscapes and stuff like that. Can you recall some of the places that you hit? Well,
we even went on looked at some carnivorous plants and stuff like that. So it wasn't strictly 100% orchids. There were orchids along the way in the area, but they also showed some other plants that were very interesting.
And that's important because you get a sense of what the environment is like, right? The ecosystem and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so you really get a good introduction to Manitoba that you wouldn't see otherwise. There's a lot of beautiful places all over the world, but in all sorts of provinces that are overlooked. If they're not a national park or provincial park, or people just don't see them. And
Manitoba was a revelation to you, right?
Yes, very beautiful.
It is a big tourist, not a destination, but it should be, I think.
It should be.
There's a lot of greenery there.
Yeah.
And a lot of different landscapes. Shocking, you get a northern Ontario type of thing, and also a transition. And then you get the flat of the area around Winnipeg. I know that doesn't appeal to you, but it kind of appeals to me.
There's so many orchids in Manitoba. You would not think of it. But there are so many there that you'll be driving along and you'll see, if you're able to recognize them, you'll see them in the ditch. They're in the ditch. There's that many. Fantastic. So definitely join the Orchid Society. Thanks for bringing that up. If you happen to be in the Winnipeg area, it was wonderful.
I knew that was special to you.
Very special.
And I retained that memory, so it was easy for me to bring.
But you've seen orchids a lot while we're hiking around in the mountains.
I know,
too. Yeah.
but the whole thing is, it's it's one thing. Just kind of, and I understand when I'm hiking, to a large extent, it's just I'm in a fair degree of pain. I don't want to over exaggerate it or anything like it, or exaggerate it at all, but it's hard for me to concentrate when I get a few steps beyond starting on anything other than just getting through the walk. So I try to retain as much as possible, but I don't pick them up the way I would, let's say, on the orchid tour or stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like, you walk ahead, it's just like I can't walk as fast as you, so then I can't be able to. It's just the way it works out. I don't learn as much as I'd like to on our hikes and so on and so forth. So I've just gotta make do with what I can do, which is finishing the hike and trying to retain some of the images. You know what I'm saying?
And I should say, I said sterilize the seed. I was meaning not the seed itself. You don't sterilize the orchid seed and then expect it to grow. The outside of the seed, so that the other things that are on the outside of the seed don't end up competing with the seed itself, because the orchid seeds are small. That's the point, right? But if you read the book, you understand that. So read the book. Okay. You can go along.
So here's another thing. I'm not going to say read the book or anything like that. This is my last review. Migrate Takes a Room. So this is the fifth and last story in this Migrate thing. It was actually pretty good. Like he's doing a stakeout, right? And stuff like that. So there are different concepts and stuff like that. It's basically the same character. I'm telling you, like, I don't know if women would like this, because his wife is so long suffering, like he's always turning up late, and she's always like got food ready for him, and she never cheats on him. He never cheats on her, which is kind of like unusual. But,
boy, these flies really want your salmon
nasty.
sandwich. You should just eat that salmon sandwich.
I think so. Yeah. That's a nasty
because they
fly.
so want it.
Nasty.
But anyway.
Don't waste money on any migrate stuff, but get it from the library.
Yeah,
or stuff
they
like
should
that.
all be there.
They should be, but
or else they're in my
library.
basement now, because that's
yeah.
library discount.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can take it, or whatever.
We've got some place for it. Maybe by the orchids there. Put it behind.
But
I gotta eat this before these guys.
Yeah. So what I did with James's bread, just to explain how I made it, is this doesn't have any wheat or even any rye or anything like that in it. I've made it with oats. It's almost 100% oats besides the seeds. So what I did is I used psyllium powder as well as molasses to stick it together. So I used,
look at that.
And I did get some rye out of it somehow.
Yeah.
So
a little more rye than the other ones, and it's sticking together.
It sticks together
and it's
really
basically
well.
the psyllium you figure, not the oats so much. Yeah.
I think, it might be all.
Yeah.
But the oats plus the psyllium plus the
There was a third thing. Right?
the molasses.
Molasses. I can see that
It sticks
work.
together like crazy. So in this one I put quinoa seeds. I'm out of teff. So James doesn't get any more teff in his diet right now. But I have plenty of quinoa seeds still. So I put quinoa seeds in there and black sesame seeds. So
Incidentally, my weight's up a little bit.
good.
It's good.
So are they happy about that?
Of course. They're a little too worried about it, but they're used to people with cancer just dropping weight.
Yeah.
They don't understand it's how.
So you don't want the sprouts on your sandwich this time?
I'm going to put it in the soup.
Okay, you do what you want.
Sometimes the sprouts make it a little hard. Not quite like having cilantro in a sandwich. Sometimes it makes it like the sandwich. You go in after it, and it starts breaking the sandwich up.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because of the...
I don't. I haven't had a sandwich
stems.
in so long. I'm kind of jealous every time I see you eat a sandwich. But anyway, if this works, I mean, I could eat that, I suppose. I'm so used to not having bread.
It's kind of sandwich. You wouldn't want to eat the fish.
No, not that. But bread. I mean, because it's made with oats. So, I mean, that should bring my cholesterol down. So. Anyway, any news from the outside world?
What did I use? A yellow type. Music type. And interviewed in BC. On CBC.
You okay?
It's called Q. It's just GRD.
From the salmon?
Salmon. This is strong.
It's strong. Okay. I didn't know.
For GERD.
But you still like eating salmon? Because that looks painful.
It is.
Because you don't have to eat salmon.
I've got to eat it. It's healthy, and I actually like the taste. You know, it's kind of like a confession. It's one of the few meats that I like the taste of.
Okay.
You've seen how I react to just the thought of like
Yeah.
beef and stuff like that. Oh my God, the smell of cooking. You've seen me react to cooking chicken.
Yeah.
It's awful. You know? I used to kind of maybe like the smell. Cooking beef's the same way. It just smells like. Makes me want to throw up, right?
Okay.
Anyway, this is the advantage. It's not cooked. You know?
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, CBC. So this is a yellow. He's put out some sort of music thing. No, it was some sort of a movie. So this guy's a producer. He's worked with name players. Yeah. Oh, I'm just trying to piece it together.
No, that's fine.
Because that stuff's not important. He's a yellow. And the CBC guy then says, any last thoughts? I just want to talk about COVID. This is a yellow. It could be anything. And, you know, I hate the way the government, I think it's American, is using it to take away our freedoms. Ew, stupid. And he was talking about how governments, someone was predicting a while back, how they would, when they took away your freedoms, it would be for your safety and security. And the CBC guy actually stood by his guns. The last thing he said is, you know, I actually think it's good what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And then just signed
the
off
first time a CBC.
Yeah.
What is he going to lose his job for actually standing up to?
I don't know. You tell this guy was a hoser. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just seemed like a waste of skin.
Yeah.
I shouldn't really say that. What I say is because that might have like racially prejudice overtones. Racist a little strong. But I'm not thinking that way.
From some other.
No, nothing like
just
that.
Being racist.
You know, the term of race of skin doesn't refer to skin color. It just refers to someone. You know, they're like a bag holding stuff.
Yes, I know.
So what I say is waste.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
What I say is waste of skull. Waste of skull.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just a waste of skull, and that's what I use for people who just like they've got brains, but they don't use them. You know, that's on them. So they're not born that way. They're just. Anyway, find out who it was so you can boycott it, idiot.
Yeah.
Where's the least